don't know who I'm talking to, but the Lord has given me a word for you. Whatever you're going through, yeah, God gave me this word for you. Everything will be alright. When you're going through, just remember this word. Listen, everybody clap your hands out now this evening. Yeah.
All right.
Listen, I want y'all to help me sing.
Everything's gonna be all right.
Yes, it will.
You gotta believe that. It don't matter what's going on in DC. It don't matter what's going on around the world. Everything gonna be all right. You gotta believe that. Ooh. All right, music down. Table is lit. We have Jay and Darian are at the table. Tune in. All right, here we go.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome.
Between Sundays, tonight is episode 57. Again, we're a platform where we offer perspectives of the modern church ministry operation and the many nuances therein from the lens of worship arts and multimedia personnel. If you're coming in the room, please, if you don't mind, share it to your page. Tag somebody you think it'd be, would be great for the conversation. Great to hear the conversation. Maybe even offer something to the conversation. Also, again, we're still pushing. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube page, please do us a favor. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Again, in the search on YouTube, just put Between Sundays, no space, and then YY7 and I with a dash before the YY. All right. So last week, man, we had a ball. We had family in the building with us in studio. And we talked a lot about this post that we've been talking about for about a month now almost. So we are going to stay there this week, but we're going to really center our focus on the production elements that I guess are common in the worship experience of today. But before we do that, let's read the post again that we've been focusing on. And again, that says, have our churches become so production centered that we have alienated our youth from aspiring to be musicians? Back in the day, we couldn't wait till church was over in between services to play on the instruments, but now crickets. Oh, and wait, we don't even have a lot of afternoon services anymore unless that is our main service. And again, the last couple of weeks, we've hit a lot of different interesting points, peeled back a lot of layers, particularly in regards to the development of youth that may be aspiring to be musicians, aspiring to learn to play instruments, how, the environment looks a little different nowadays than it used to back in the day, 20 and 30 years ago. But again, the crux of this post, or the anchoring word, is the production. That's the anchoring word that kind of triggers the effect, the thought of alienating your youth from aspiring to be musicians. So I want to take some time to really focus on that part, on that production part. And here's the question I'm asking today. And Jay, I definitely want to start with you. Okay. Pelzer, I think there's a lot that you can give us when it comes to this question. So my question today is, what are some of the things in the worship experience of today that we feel is more production-like than the things in the worship experience of yesterday? One more time. What are some of the things in the worship experience of today that we feel are more production like, that maybe were not present in the worship experience of today? J. Marks.
You know, I think one of the things that has been most in my mind when I read this is really, number one, churches are not made of the community anymore. Most of the time, that 30 years ago, of course, there's without internet, most churches were made from people around the community. They walked to church.
Yes, sir.
They lived 5 or 10 minutes near the church, so they were able to get to church on time. They were able to leave and come back for the second service. Now, churches have been, because of production and because of our live streams and because of our need to be seen now, it's more, we hire, it become more workflow. We have hired who we want to be in place, rather than use the people of the community that would be next to the church or 5 minutes from the church. Even when we do our outreach, it's not really focused on our community, on the community around. It's focused on certain charities. It's not focused on who lives here and who lives there. Remember, churches used to go, just like the Jehovah's Witness, they used to knock on the door. Hey, listen, we're right here at the corner of Samson and 9th. If you're not busy Sunday morning, come by. You know, nowadays it's a little different. We trust in the live stream and the announcements and the emails that we send out, the texts that we send out. You know, everything is automated. Everything is more without hands-on. So one of my main things that I noticed, we lost the touch. It's not community based as much as it used to be. You know, you felt the love in the church. This is why the mothers would be in the church 45 and 50 years. You don't see that anymore. Unless you go to one of them old Baptist churches, these new ministries, nobody's there over 25 and 30 years no more. Because it wasn't there 25 and 30 years. You if you get 5 years out of a member, that's a good amount of years. Nobody's there 35, 40 and was there when the church was actually built and founded. We don't have that. We have who we want because we hire.
Okay.
So just like we were saying last week with, I talk about the safe staging. Pels, you, we were, I don't want to say groomed or bred, but the churches we were in, we didn't have a choice. We were in there.
Yeah.
We didn't have a choice. Hey, do you want to go to this nice big church? No. You went where mom went.
Yeah.
And mom goes to the small church on the corner. So this small church on the corner is where we're going, and everything that God gave you there is, what he gave you. But we didn't have that choice like we have now. There wasn't no, I'll stay home and just watch. We didn't have that. So I just think that, to sum it up, I just think we just kind of took our hands off, our actual hands off everything, and just let AI and the system kind of work everything for us through emails, through messages, through announcements, through the different things that we have now.
Got you. Now, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because there was a lot I pulled out of what you said, and I don't really have any disagreement with anything you said, to be honest with you. I guess my thought is that there were some things that you mentioned. For instance, when you talked about church mothers, even when you dove into kind of the community thing, when it came to the churches that people chose to attend.
Yeah.
The only thought I have is some of that at least for me, and you can tell me if you disagree.
Yeah.
Some of that, like those examples, I guess I connect them less with production and more with like church dynamics in general versus kind of some of the moving parts that we call production of the actual service. Where some other parts you talked about, I think, do have a direct correlation with the production aspect. When you talk about AI, when you talk about sometimes the communication systems, you know.
Well, you know, think about it like this, Pels, man. Can a church mother be 27?
That's crazy. That's wild.
This is our church mother. She ain't even 30 yet, but she a church mother. Yeah. But anyway, that's no there. But when I thought about this, I'm like, it's almost like a whirlwind, like a butterfly effect. It start with something small, and when you take your hands off of something, after a while it starts getting bigger and bigger, and it's gonna snowball to whatever it snowballs to. So when I was thinking of it, I was like, okay, so because most of our communities are not our churches anymore, it's more people, because it was unheard of for you to go to Philadelphia, or if you were in Philadelphia, to go to Delaware just to go to church.
Yeah.
There's 21,000 churches in Philadelphia. Why would you go all the way to Delaware? You were at the one on the corner, or at least a mile away.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking was, I was like, okay, well, why is it that now it's okay to where, and it's nothing wrong with it then if you did it, but why is it now so natural?
So much more common.
It's so more common for folks that's in Philly to go to church in Delaware or Jersey, and it's my only thing was, now it seemed like the production of everything has taken most of our hands off, shaking of hands, fellowship. You know, remember when you had the right hand of fellowship, pals? You know, churches don't really do that anymore. You know, like it's now walk into this room. And somebody, not even a pastor, would be in there to greet you, but somebody, a senior leader, would be in there, and you'll be in you'll get a pamphlet.
Yeah,
this is what we do. This is our website. So the right hand. So when you say production, it was just like a snowball effect. I'm like, all of this, we just took our hands off of everything, especially during COVID. COVID was really what set everything off.
Yeah,
and now it's just like the right hand of fellowship is almost non-existent anymore, to where you wasn't a member until you shook pastor's hand. Now it's a minister of the pastor.
Yeah. So let's park there for a minute, but I want to park there pre-COVID.
Yeah.
We'll park there pre-COVID, because again, I don't disagree with anything that you brought up. I do want to park at the when you talked about it was unheard of back in the day. People, that it'd be common. Yeah. People traveled
that far
to go to church, or to a church that they say that they belong to. So I think we would be remiss if we don't mention that, a lot of those instances, I would say, people who may now travel out of state, that wasn't always the case, where they may have started out living closer to the church they attend, and then they chose to move out of that neighborhood.
Right.
But didn't choose to leave the church.
Right.
Just because they moved out of that neighborhood.
Right.
So I think I don't want that to get lost.
Yeah.
I think that's very present.
There are some exemptions, most definitely, in any situation.
Yeah.
But it was just, I was looking at the broad effect of what they call that butterfly effect of something so small. Just as, because we when the Bible says how beautiful it is for brethren, how is that what it says, Pels? To dwell together in unity?
Yes.
So when we think about that, and we miss that part of fellowship, between services, you would have food.
Yeah.
That was the fellowship part. Or you would go to the other church. I think we talked about that, where you would go to another church in the afternoon and fellowship and eat first.
Yeah.
You would fellowship with them before you had service.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was more common for the touch ministry, it was more common where folks were actually in touch with each other.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So I was going on more of the fact where it was just like, it seemed more out of touch,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just everything is production centered to where everything is now based on computers. Everything is now based on you getting the message, but not from me,
Mm-hmm.
but by what I sent you through text or email, even down to the message.
Yeah.
So that's where I was hitting.
Yeah. All right. Again, let's park here. But like I said, I want to have this conversation pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Because obviously that introduces a totally different dynamic that kind of flips everything on its head.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of what you talked about, you saw before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of what you talked about in terms of the personability or
That's it.
Things being personal,
Mm-hmm.
the experience being personal, the connections being a little more personal, started to dwindle. It just started to dwindle partially with the technology age.
Yeah. Well, not to even cut you off, but can you honestly say, like, even now, years after, you still have a twinge when somebody coughs more than twice? Come on, like
right.
It's just like, if you cough more than twice, or when you sneeze
Mm-hmm.
more than twice, your eye starts to twinge. Like, what you got?
Yeah,
like,
and
it's been ingrained in us now.
Yep.
That it's just I just got to take my hands off.
Yep.
Maybe I'm going too far with it.
No, but it's the truth. It's just that's what makes that side of the conversation very difficult.
Yeah.
That's why I was trying to talk a little bit more before COVID.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because once, like I said, everything you're saying is absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
on this side of COVID.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That has had an effect on the whole idea of things being more personal.
Yeah.
But that's why I said you started to see that even before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I really want to talk about, some of the, I guess, some of the traces of that, and, when, what could kind of have caused that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the communication piece.
Mm-hmm.
Because AI is, a little bit, most people would say AI is on the backside of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But, kind of the avenue that led us to AI was before COVID.
Right.
And so when we talk about, the communication being being almost all digital,
Mm-hmm.
and that tilting us away from personal experiences
Mm-hmm.
and, actual in-person fellowships,
Yeah.
then I think we have to talk about the method of consumption nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
The method of how we are consuming church.
Mm. Okay.
Go ahead. Come on, pals.
Well, so, all right, I'm listening to what Jay was saying,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel where Jay was going, and I know that you pulled out, like you said, let's park it here, and I like the fact that you brought up pre-COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
COVID exposed the leaders, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
because you couldn't see the whole church, and the church kind of existed through the leader for the most part, because even if churches were still gathering together, you kind of focused it down to the sermon, because you had to try to figure out how to put the praise team together, how to put the congregation together. And then the praise team, if they came in with masks on, everybody stood 20 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had to jump on technology. Technology, once you get into it, it is production. No matter how you put it, it's like an assembly of some sort. You got to make sure the internet's up, make sure the computer's running, make sure you're running the right program, make adjustments to the lights and stuff. So you jump right into a production state.
Mm-hmm.
So those churches that weren't already on that had to get on that.
Yeah.
The ones that were already on it, vanity kicked in on some of them because they already had the advantage. They were running. Churches that had everything that couldn't go in because the bigger the church, the more you had to follow the rules. And you couldn't kind of just do what you wanted to do. Now you got this large church, but you got to set the pastor up at home. You're trying to figure all that out. Then when everybody gets back in, people got so used to this space that when they come back in, you have to now do more gimmicks to draw them, right? Because if you showed me a good service online and we spent all that money online, then I can take my own time to ease back into.
Yeah.
All of that is making us be production minded because you had to come in and set up this stuff, take it down. You know, what are you going to do? What time are you going to go live? Said all that to say this. Let me address what Jay was saying about the local church back in the day. Well, good point. I thought about it. What would justify traveling outside of your neighborhood to go to church was because it was your family church. And it would be safe to say that your whole family didn't live in Richard Allen. Your whole family didn't live in Germantown. Your whole family didn't live in Mount Airy. Shoot, your cousin moved to Jersey, so that's why they go to church in Philly. You know, your auntie moved to Delaware, but she's one of the 5 daughters, so she's still loyal to her home church. We're not Catholic, so we don't go to the next parish. So as at least in the black culture, unless you move way out of state or over 100 miles, wherever your church was when you grew up, you always at that church until somebody pissed you off or you start a ministry or something like that. Now, getting back to production, church, it's a new day. The Lord dropped this on me. When we look at malls now, right? King of Prussia Mall is figuring out how to evolve and shift. Other malls are figuring out how to shift. And the same company that owns different malls, they had to know which ones to shut down. Hear me, people, and which ones to invest in and build up.
Correct.
Simon Malls, right? So they shut down Exton. If I believe if they were the owners, they shut that down and repurposed that, but they not complaining about trying to bring back the mall that Exton was. Montgomeryville Mall shifted. A couple of other malls shifted. Cherry Hill Mall, King of Prussia, they were like, look, we keep these rolling. Maybe Christiana. I haven't been down there. They flipped it, but Concord Mall shut it down. Right? You got to figure it out. Production wise, there are churches that are trying to do production that can't keep up with the production. And then I'll stop on this and give it back to you, Darian. Back to that main point that we're our controlling point here. Here's a bigger issue. Let's make production a safe building word. The question is, when you have a production facility, a production line, you're producing product, right? Productivity. The thing that I have been going through, and if I had a mental issue, I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. What is the product? Right? The latest thing, because we vowed we're not going to bring it up. We're not going to dive into it. Y'all know what it is. The latest hot ticket on follow instructions. Good, bad, whatever the take is. I'm not judging. I'm still millions didn't make it, but I was one of the ones who did. I'm a fan. I'm going to leave that right there, right? I'm a fan. Always. I'm not getting rid of none of my records. I'm good. Man ain't do me wrong. Bless me. But what I'm saying is all of these different things that are happening, our problem with the left, the right, the wing being torn down, whatever, ice in the street and all. When it comes to the church, what is the product?
Yes, sir.
We got one job, and that is to spread the gospel.
That's it, right there.
That's the one job. Now, if we want to be a great musical church with the best band, these things shall be added unto you. But the question is, what's the one job? We're arguing music. We're arguing offering. We're arguing how to dress. We're arguing it's not like yesterday. We're arguing all of this, and apologetically, we are terrible at the one job. We don't have conversation for our neighborhoods. We don't have conversation in the Starbucks and the Dunkin' Donuts, but we got enough arguments about everything else. And at the end of the day, we are not tested on the one job.
Yes, sir.
And that right there will help us to shift into whatever the new thing is. I don't need the choir stand behind the pulpit to feel like a church.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to just put the preachers on the side, but I can practically say, I'd rather not sit in the chair behind a woman standing up in the pulpit and having to look around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or she have to worry about, like, well, we have nothing else to look at but your backside.
Yeah.
Right.
And that and the thing is, it makes sense to sit on the floor and listen to the person up front or move the chairs to the side, not because we're fighting tradition.
Mm-hmm. Not because we're fighting tradition.
We're not fighting tradition here. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
And right now, the way technology has advanced, if you don't have a hi-fi in your house and a tube TV, then stop complaining because the church is trying to raise money to get an LED screen, monitors, or a better sound system.
Mm-hmm.
That's just fact. You got the new iPhone? Well, then you can't have the Radio Shack speakers in the church now. Stop arguing tradition. I remember we used that. Well, no.
Right. Time's different.
So, and let me make some connection with your point, Pels, which I think will connect with. You good. But let me make some connection with your point, which connected with Jay's point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I think our destination tonight. This is our destination tonight. I think we can all agree is that our destination is that production was only meant to make things more effective.
Nice.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
Pels,
like
when
it.
you talked, you
it.
had tied production to technology.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the advancing of technology.
Yeah.
What is the goal?
Yeah.
The goal with advancing technology is to make things more effective.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Now, that's not to say that it's not used improperly.
Yeah.
It's not to say that, and that's going to be some of the content of our conversation tonight. But the actual goal, particularly when we're again considering the product, is to make the details, the content is to make the message more effective. Let's tie it to communication. Jay, 20 years ago, if I had the thought, hey man, my bro Jay is on my mind. I just want to see how he's doing. I had one method of seeing how you were doing. I had to pick up the phone and call you and hope that you was by your house phone.
You had to first of all remember my number.
Wow. Yeah.
Right,
that was the only method.
Right.
I could not send you an email.
Right.
I could not send you a DM. I could not send you a text message 20 years ago.
20, yeah.
Well, let me play it safe. 25 years ago.
Okay.
Because 20 years till was 2005, so maybe somebody come by and say, "Well, you still had an email back then." So let's say 25 years ago.
Broadband, but okay.
Yeah. that was my one method.
Yeah.
And all I wasn't in my mind, I wasn't saying to myself, I want to have a 15-minute conversation with you. Right. In my mind, it was just, I just want to make sure everything good with him. Because it just popped in my mind. But that was my only means.
Yeah.
Enter technology. So when we enter technology, whether it's smartphone, whether it's now social media, email, whatever the case, again, the intention was now to make being able to communicate with whomever more effective.
You know, it's crazy. You know, everything we used to watch on the Jetsons, we now have. I remember looking at the Jetsons, man, saying there's no way we could start talking to people on the phone and seeing them at the same time. And look at us now.
Yep.
Here we are. And, you know, I read something that was interesting. It's funny, you know, Pels mentioned Starbucks. The CEO of Starbucks, I read, used the black church as a pinpoint of how he became a billionaire with Starbucks.
Mm.
Starbucks was meant as a community center that just happened to sell coffee.
Mm.
He used what they used to do at the church and just had people congregate
Yep.
at one place
Mm-hmm.
for the specific purpose of just being there with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they just happened
Yeah.
to sell coffee.
And well, so here's the thing. So when they franchised it,
Mm-hmm.
Chick-fil-A was only known in Cherry Hill Mall.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you walk back and forth to Sears or JCPenney over there and act like you never went past that little tray
Mm-hmm.
and you got the little samples of the chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Then it started to become bigger and bigger. You start franchising. Then you have to jump into production,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then production increases. In order to keep the machine rolling, the production has to be in place. And it's an assembly line,
Yeah.
technically, right? And so kind of drawing this back to the topical point, which we're on it,
Mhm.
but there's so many nuances to it, a Darian word, the different nuances of it. It's like, it's supposed to be for the better. So Darian brought up communication, and I used this in an analogy before about how personal it was to go home and be home in that place, guard the phone, make sure nobody was on it. And if somebody was on it and you was fortunate enough to have a two-way line,
Yeah.
you would be like, did you hear the phone do something?
Did you hear
That's
that beep?
so-and-so in there.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get that.
Yes, sir.
Right? And you had to go as long as the cord did. That's good nostalgic talk.
Oh yeah.
So I bought to someone when they got caught up too far into the old phone.
Mhm.
I said, what's our main point? Is communication. I'm like, technically, the advancement of technology should make things better
Yeah.
when it comes to how communication is.
Yes, sir.
I said that, but at the same time, we take things for granted.
Mm-hmm.
So now I said, see, back in the day, I was glad to go to church to see people.
Yeah.
And people were like, why people ain't come to church? I was like, well, technically, I can just FaceTime you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm satisfied. I
Yeah.
fulfilled I seen your face.
Yep.
I see you doing well. You done showed me around the whole crib. I don't need to come to your house. You showed me the crib.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't need to come see your car. You showed it to me.
Yeah.
I don't need to take a ride with you. You showed me where you at.
Mhm.
Technology allows us to do that. The
Mhm.
main thing is it comes back down to the heart. Do I really care?
Mm.
And then if I believe the word of God, there's not forsaking the assembly of the saints.
Yeah.
But let's flip that on his head real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Because now what we see in churches are they want you to come to the church,
Uh-oh.
but production wise, they want you to get out of the church just as quick as you get in it.
Mm-hmm.
It is
That
on
part
the
right
clock.
there. Don't,
Yeah.
bruh.
I
that
go to
part.
places and preach, and we get out. And sometimes I test people. What time y'all normally out? We try and be out of here at least by 11.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, cool, got you.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't sit there. Well, the Holy Ghost, I'll joke and be like, look, I'm gonna make sure I'm done at 10:45 and the Holy Ghost go, boom. But because it is so production. So in that,
Yeah.
let's tie in last week. You don't have time for go ahead, baby, get your praise on that organ.
Mm-hmm.
No, bring the song in.
Yeah.
Sister start singing and really feeling it. Okay, reel that in. Cause it's 10:40.
Mhm.
We gotta put the preacher up
Yeah.
now.
Yep.
And Pels, you got to where I was going.
So the
quick.
question is, where is the mom and pop spot?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you don't tell Sid Bookers how to do shrimp different.
Yeah.
You don't tell D'Alessandro's how to do cheesesteaks different.
Facts.
You stand in this line and you get it how they give it to you.
Yes, sir.
Chick-fil-A, you can tell them y'all not following the script.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And once church start to get like that, you got people that are trying church again. And the problem is they don't even know this church, but they expect it to go according to the production mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah, Pels, you got to my destination really
Go ahead,
quickly.
Take it over.
Because when I brought up that word consumption,
Mhm.
how we're consuming church,
Mhm.
and then Pels, you just mentioned about how we kind of take advantage or take for granted.
Yeah.
Oof.
Take for granted
Yeah.
how things through technology with a little production are now better.
Yeah.
We take that for granted in how we consume.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why, to your point, Pels, we in a rush to get out of service once we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now we have really devalued how we consume church because it's so accessible.
Yeah.
Mm.
And this is pointing us back to live stream strategy.
Wow.
It's pointing us back to live stream strategy. Now,
Mm.
let me do this first before I really get in this rabbit hole, okay? Because a few months back we had Jennifer Benton here, who, you know, she's a marketing professional, and so she shared with us some of the positive benefits of why we live stream and who the target audience is. She mentioned college students. She mentioned members who are military and deployed.
Yeah.
She mentioned, so that is like your primary audience when it talks about live stream. But the strategy that we've been using, it just oversaturates. And so now again,
Because here's the point.
we dilute consuming church.
Yeah.
Darren, take it right back. But here's the thing, and Jay, feel me on this. The question again is it making disciples, right? Or is it making customers?
Well, it's making Bedside Baptist disciples.
Right? Who would be because here's the thing, it can't be a Bedside Baptist disciple.
Yeah.
Because if you bedside, you ain't going ye therefore.
Right.
You're not,
At
you're
all.
not,
Yeah.
you're not, we persuade men daily.
Right.
If anything, some of the production is making people more perplexed. As per the last recent events, non-church people are perplexed. Church people are like, I get it, but I don't agree with it. And then the non-church people looking like, well, okay, you understand what they was doing, but you don't really agree with it. Did you ever say something? Well, I mean, I guess that's how they do. Then it goes back to why y'all streaming it.
Yeah.
And if you know everything's being streamed, you got to change up what you do because the world is seeing it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So
Yes, sir.
again, to Darren's point, I'm good with technology because on another hand, it's like, yep, now the fly on the wall is there every Sunday. And some people real slow and they ain't getting it.
Yeah.
And now we spending more time justifying or clarifying things that's not even the word of God. It's the what we do that's not actually the word.
Yeah.
Because 90% of what we arguing don't have nothing to do with salvation. Technically, it has a lot to do with church, but it don't really have anything to do with what must I do to be saved, which means now we're still confused about the product.
Yeah. And Jay, I'm coming back your way, but let me clarify for anybody watching, because we are not demonizing
Right.
live streaming.
Yeah, no, not at all.
The worship experience. Please be clear on that. We're not demonizing that at all in any way. We are saying let's re-examine the strategy.
Right.
Because again, the strategy that most of us are using, it is diluting the consumption.
Wow.
And when we dilute the consumption, then it's okay. Well, we don't value what you said, Jay.
Yeah.
We don't value the fellowship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we feel like we can get that substitute on our computer.
That's right there. Right there. Now, you know, I was reading something. It says the church and a factory mindset. It pinpointed as the way we are now is close to like a factory work. It said that our discussion was focused on how most effectively and efficiently multiplying campuses and churches to get the conversation rolling. Build a car versus building a factory on a whiteboard, and then instructed them to discuss that statement. It was fun to sit back and watch them share their thoughts and reflection. Building a car depended on skill of labor. Ain't that where we are
Yep.
in the church?
Yep.
The process tends to move slowly. It's difficult to reproduce.
Mm-hmm.
Can be more costly than expected. When you were saying how we get in, but yet get them out,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we have service at this time, we're out by this time.
Yeah.
If the Holy Spirit moves, you got 2 minutes. Like I had to think about that. Are we like factory mindsets now,
Mm-hmm.
to where we get them in and get them out, and everybody like little robots?
Yeah.
Because the production is, like you said, moving parts.
Yes.
So if everybody like little robots, that means we tend to do the same thing every single Sunday,
Routinely.
routinely,
Yes, sir.
and robotically.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like a factory where it's like, look, we need prolific production to increase revenue. At the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, prolific production to increase revenue. Now, let's just say where you play at, they came to you and was like, listen, by the year 2026, August of 2026, we have our second campus that we're building.
Mm-hmm.
Your first thought is, ho. How much work you going to have to do now
Yeah.
to help build and maintain the music ministry that you work so hard
Mm-hmm.
just to get to this point now?
Yeah.
They're starting a whole new ministry.
Yeah.
New musicians, new singers,
Mhm.
new people to work with, new personality. All that you got to deal with now.
Yeah.
You need every bit of this time as you can get to build up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Not just put you in position.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? Like it's mind blowing to think how we are
Mm-hmm.
right now, to where it's like, because I had to think, I was like, how hard is it to build another campus?
Yeah.
How hard is it to build another church, to plant another church after you just planted one and got this one off the ground? Now you're planting another one
Mm-hmm.
with people that you now have to break off of the church that's doing well to send them here.
Yeah.
To plant all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what? Now you want to start a third campus. And some people have done it and done it well.
Yeah.
But this is why when we go back to the production of it all, I read that's like factory mindset though.
Yeah.
I said I can
And
see
it-
how that could be that.
And it hits on Pell's point. Pell's point about, are we creating disciples or customers?
Yeah.
Because if revenue
Mhm.
is at the center, you're trying to create customers.
Well, you got to understand where we are right now. Let's just be honest. Where we are right now in ministries, the gospel is being preached, but a lot of us, and I'm not saying no names, I put all of us in it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us are focused on the revenue because it's the revenue that allows us to build more product. As Pell says, it's a product.
Mm-hmm.
It's the revenue that allows us to do that. The gospel allows us to preach it and to get people there, but it's the revenue that you know.
Hey, but so wait, listen to your point though. When you say product, and I'm not testing you on this. I'm just using exactly what you said, like, and it makes sense. But where the revenue allows for more product, but the product now is the customer.
Mm-hmm.
The customer is the new product.
Yeah.
Right. It's not pushing product. It's producing customers is the cash flow.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because, and then that's a struggle because come November, it's really going to be chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just leave that there. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
That's going to set a whole new level. Thanksgiving about to be real different.
Yeah.
Going to be a lot of fasting. But nonetheless,
For sure.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And then the timing of what, see, the Holy Ghost don't lie. The time, this is not about, I'm not picking on this one thing that we talking about, but I'm just saying everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And the full context gives a different context, but it still presents the problem. if people are dropping so much money in church, right? And then you have, just from a living standpoint, times is about to get harder, right? The problem with being a overproductive church that doesn't really focus on the main thing, we're trying to keep up the big mall that we built, the campuses that we've made. We're trying to keep up. I'm gonna reel this back into this Between Sundays thing that's mainly dealing with musicians and singers and the musical part of the church, right? This is how it flows into the problem with that. To the original poster's point that these two guys have put up about production and raising young people up in church, you can't raise like literally authentic musicians like we used to, because you don't even have the places like we used to have, nor have we carried the essence of what that was. That's why we can bring up a Ford Memorial, a 5-spot, because now when you think of even the secular industry, right? All those sheds and stuff, it doesn't matter how great Corey Henry is. I love what he's trying to do with the sanctuary thing he's doing with the church, all that. But you know what most people see? That dude is a Grammy Award winning, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter how great Amir is doing with the Roots and blah, blah, blah. He's on the Tonight Show. I need that pinnacle. And when you get out here in the secular world on the paying stages, right, you are doing production. You're not doing your anointed gift.
Right.
You don't go on tour with Beyonce to let out your anointed gift.
Right. Exactly.
You don't. You play that right there. I can start naming musicians that you put them on a Hammond at a storefront church and you'll see some phenomenal stuff. But yet you're cheering for them, like myself, because they're on stage with one of the most popular, top world-renowned artists. But at the end of the day, inside, we know that all they played was 3-finger chords and a couple of program stuff. And I'm happy that you was on stage, but I didn't feel nothing special from that like I felt when I found you on a Sunday afternoon. And the pastor was about to preach and they said, go ahead and minister. That's it. We don't have those spaces no more.
But mind you, remember what I was talking about with the Starbucks in the community. The reason why Ford Memorial was so impactful because it was community driven. Especially by the musicians.
So we have to create that space now.
And Ford wasn't something you could consume from your computer.
That part.
That experience you could not. The experience of Ford Memorial, the experience of being Moakley, the experience of any churches like that in other areas. You know, the experience, you could not consume it on your phone, on your tablet, on your computer. That's a great comment. I want to shout out some watchers. Then come back to that comment. Josh Gilmore, Rock Harris, Angeline Jones, 1 Corinthian Nicole, Marquise Shaw Cotman, Jennifer Benton. That's all I see on my end. Thank you all for tuning in. But yeah, you couldn't, those experiences. Go ahead, Bells.
So King, shout out to my brother. He's right, and it would be nice if he was here too. Like this is great. I don't think this is a bad thing, but this is a good thing considering you two guys, and our two guys, our guests that were here last week. I'm gonna just use y'all 4, and shout outs to everybody else, watching or who will watch. Shout outs to all of you. But this is great. The presence of cameras cause leaders or musicians to focus more on appearance and production than on genuine worship.
Keyword more.
Right. But the reason why I'm highlighting y'all is because I know that you guys know how to overcome your flesh if your flesh took you into more appearance consciousness. Like y'all are 4 people, y'all 4 people that I'm naming, I have not seen y'all in a place where it was about the camera that you knew that was on you.
That part.
Or it was about the 8 young boys that was like, I'm waiting on Jay to do that or Darian to do that, or I'm waiting on King to do that. At the recording that Zach had back at Prince of Peace, I mean, King, we looking at King like, what are you going to do? I'm like, oh, look, he got sneakers on. Yeah. But at the end of the day, he was tapped in. It was like, cool. I'm a fan, but at the end of the day, he's focused. Y'all are focused. Austin's focused. So the good thing is, how can we use this for our good? Let's come to the reality. The cameras are on us. So we need to talk. It's almost like when you go to a ministry, and I don't even think y'all, the pastors where y'all serve at, they probably didn't do this and they didn't have to, but moving forward, we would also say, let it be known, we are a technologically advanced church. And just like the camera's on me and I'm the pastor and I have to be accountable for appearance, actions. If something funny happens, I got to remember the camera is on me. Right? Yep. If y'all single, you got to remember the camera on you. And they did, somebody was right there, see squeezing and he looking at her. Like, that's a part of ministry too, because we are exposed now.
Right.
Yeah. And I was going there.
Go ahead. Go for it.
The cameras being on is, or it should not be about personal exposure. No. Being cognizant of the cameras being on should be about personal exposure. That shouldn't be what we're focused on when we say we know the cameras are on us. And when I say personal exposure, meaning that, okay, the camera's on, I gotta look, I gotta make sure I'm killing. Right. I gotta make sure I'm killing so my social media presence can go up. That's what I mean by that. That should not be what we're thinking about is personal exposure. Right. No. It should be more a focus of being a example.
Yeah. And this is what I was telling you when we discussed some of the greats that are of today that we see online all the time. It's like, I think Pels was telling about Gerald and John. Yeah. One time
John
they was
Brian.
playing. Yeah. They were John and Brian. They was playing, and then everybody's looking like to see what they gonna do, and they didn't do anything.
Yeah, that was Gerald and John.
Because
they
realized
Gerald Hayward. You right?
Yeah, because they was like, yo, we're here to just focus on this.
Yes, sir.
We're not here to make you guys happy.
Yeah.
We're like, this is who we play for.
Yeah.
So our production mind is on, let's do what we got to do. We'll share it later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then you have other guys that they have this thing where and they're online, and I love them. They're online. They're wonderful. But now everywhere you go, you have to produce that or better.
Yeah.
You have to, because now your presence is so, it's like the camera, even though it's not the church's camera, my camera, these camera, everybody light on you to see what chord you going to hit next. Yeah. You can't even enjoy yourself in the time of the Lord because everybody's around you with the daggone camera.
And this just kind of landed on my shoulders because when we talk about this, obviously we are just unintended consequences. We're hitting the realm of content creators. It's an unintended consequence. Yeah. That we're going to hit the realm of content creators. Yeah. And so I do want to make sure that, we're not shooting any arrows at you.
No, we're not. Not at all. Not at all.
Those of you who are, let's say your church or gospel musicians and, you set up you got a whole camera set up when you play in that church. You're a content creator. We're not necessarily shooting arrows at you, particularly if your intentions are in the right place.
Right.
So let me do that. Now, me personally, I would like those guys who fit that description. That you're a content creator and most of your content is you playing in church environments.
Right.
and again, just my preference. I would prefer your content be a little bit more rehearsal centric.
Okay.
Versus on Sunday centric.
Nice. I like it.
Again, that's just my preference. Right. If you feel the other way, listen, you do you, be great. I'm not trying to say you're wrong. Right. Again, that's my preference. The times, and for me, it's very few times that I'm recording. That I set up something. Now, the few times that I did, when I did it on Sunday, it was never live streamed. So when I set up a couple cameras in the band pit at my church, I just recorded, and my purpose was sharing it with the rest of the musicians.
Now, let me ask you this. Isn't pastors that live stream, aren't they content creators?
Some of them, they do take that route, yes.
No, I'm only saying it because if by definition, the church is creating content.
By definition, yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
here's where I would, I guess, slice the bread. I would slice the bread in with content creators are not only taking what they record or when they're recorded, but they're also kind of chopping it up and strategically posting it. That's where I would kind of slice the bread of content creator versus someone who's just on camera because of their position. Does that make sense? Go ahead,
I'm going to hit this one head on. This is big, but okay, Julian, I seen you responded to it. Here's the thing. Let's tie in what Keem said.
Safe stage.
Let's look at, Julian says cameras magnify the issues going on if you're not careful. Okay, that could mean a lot of things. Now, Mark, I'm gonna summarize what you mentioned. Shout out to you, Neff. Here's the problem with this right here, because I ran across this in my pastoring. When we get to the point that our concern is I don't get time in prime time, but I'm skeptical of performance, as if to say validation of love is to allow me to mess up in prime time or not uphold a standard.
Right.
It's kind of like you don't put, if you're at a football game, right, and you have the cheerleaders come out, you don't have somebody that don't really know solidly how to do the steps get out on the middle of the field at halftime. You kind of like come out to practice and show that you got it tight so that when the cameras is rolling, you got it.
You got it, right.
Now, the problem is it does create some narcissism there because there might be kids don't even need to practice. They just the dopest. You the only bass player around and you the bomb at whatever you do. You high all the time. You basically slamming everything that's around the church, but yet you all we got for Sunday. Sometimes they get this spot and other people are mad because the nice, cool, righteous kid is just not up there, has not practiced or tries and just don't have it. And the problem with production churches is that makes people feel great that if you don't put me on camera on prime time, you don't love me.
Yeah.
And the problem is it's really not personal half the time. They've set the bar so high that if you know that so-and-so can't read the announcements well, you're never going to read announcements on Sunday morning because we know that you can't read big words. So we can't afford to put you on there because remember what we said earlier, we're getting customers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're not looking for converts as much. We're looking for customers. And the customer is always right. The customer wants perfection because the customer is going to be the one to sit there and say, she can't sing. And I can't watch this if y'all put that bad singing on there. I don't know what that organist was playing because Troy Chambers played it way better than Keith Pelzer. Y'all can't put the associate minister up there because they too nervous.
Yeah.
It creates a problem. So back to what we were saying before, turn the cameras off. The question now is, do I still want to play when the cameras ain't on?
Uh-oh.
The next question is, do I want to play? If it ain't no organist, do I still play the drums? If it ain't no drummer, do I still get on the organ? If it ain't no background singers, do I still come up and sing? If it ain't nobody in the congregation, do I still want to lead worship? That comes back down to what we were all saying about authenticity. Because if I'm faithful over few things, I'm already ready for when it gets bigger. And I hope I'm addressing that, because like we said back in the day, and I'm reading this, it was okay if the young drummer played a little too fast or the keyboardist didn't quite know all the fancy chords yet. I'll say that to this. It worked in the family church. Because in my church, we had a lot of people in there that if, you had to give them a turn. You had to give them a turn. But when the congregation started to get big and stuff like that, it really wasn't hateration. The congregation was the ones that was like, all right, y'all got to get him off the keys.
Wow.
See what I'm saying? Because it's like quenching their spirit. The nice deacon that loved to pray.
Right.
You praying for the roaches, the dead cat, you praying for bruh. No, like you not in focus.
Right.
And that's what rehearsal is for. That's what Friday night tarry is for, to get it out if it's really in you. So
I had planned to get here eventually. Jay, did we take you away from your thought when we were talking? Okay. So I had planned to get here eventually. I didn't know if we were going to have time tonight. We don't really have a whole lot of time tonight. We can start this tonight. But in terms of Mark's question about where is the space, and
that's a good question.
Me and Mark go back almost 30 years. Almost 30 years me and Mark go back. So that's my guy. But here's what I have to push back, Mark, because, and this may not be what you mean, but this is kind of what I see sometimes when this question is asked. Where is the space? Are we really asking where is the space in general, or are we asking where is the space during the service?
That's
Hey, listen, me and Tim and Tremaine, anybody know Tremaine Dunlap? Our cousin Tim, we used to get our aunt's car and go to the church in the hood, shooting, everything, didn't matter.
Yeah.
We had to lock ourselves in the church just to bang on the instruments without nobody saying the drums too loud, the bass too loud. All right, that's enough, y'all. And we would play for 3 and 4 hours.
Yeah.
And we would have to stop the music and hear the church phone. Here it is, Jay. Hear the church phone ring in the deacon's study because Auntie was saying, "Are y'all all right?"
That's what it was.
That's how much we like to play.
Right.
We didn't give a rat's behind about playing on Sunday morning. And I wasn't the main musician at the time. I didn't care. If I had a key and I could sit in there with a drum set or organ, I'm playing all night long. And you know what our problem was? We didn't have anybody that wanted to sing as much as we played.
To play. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You were hungry.
But again,
that was the problem. That has gotten lost.
Yeah.
And if that next generation can find that hunger, there's never the question of where's the space. The space is, matter of fact, the space is on the phone.
The space never changed.
John Roberts, I watched John Roberts during COVID, before and after, play with people he never met in person. In his house.
Absolutely.
I mean, use technology and said, I don't need you to put me in the band. I'm going to put myself in the band. You don't have to ask me to be your drummer. I'm going to be your drummer.
Yeah.
Musicians, you don't have to ask me to play for Kim Burrell. I don't care what Troy do. I'm going to play for Kim Burrell because I'm going to strip the music out and I'm going to play my own thing. And then people are going to remember that, and there's my spot. If I can do that, I'm not sitting back waiting on nobody to ask me to get up front and do nothing. You know why some people call me to preach? Because they heard my live stream. Not because I was like, yo, can I get a turn?
Yeah.
I don't need turn in your space.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you what I do, and I'm gonna be confident in what God has put in me, and then people will recognize it.
Absolutely.
And this is the hunger that we had back in the day. The Spankies, the Rock, the Kings, all of them. They ain't come from. I mean, who had the spot at the time? Roberts and Bryan and them, right?
Yeah.
You know how many drummers I discovered afterwards that was like, dang, where you come from? I was up in Ford. I never seen you on the drums.
Exactly.
What you mean you was in Ford? Musicians. Oh yeah, he came out of Ford. Who?
Yeah.
When was you in Ford?
Exactly.
I never saw you on the Hammond. I saw Steve, and I saw Jamar, and James as a special guest.
Sometimes Omar. Yeah.
I ain't see. It's like 5 other people that was in the midst.
Absolutely.
I never seen them on the organ.
Absolutely. But that's why
Never prime time.
That's why I had to get to that question, so that, because I want to just make sure that the expectation is not that the only space
is in
that
prime
the
time.
only space.
Right.
Yeah.
The only.
That's
right.
what we gotta be careful about. That the only space, because again, when we look at the times when we came up, then we'll say, well, that was the only space then.
Yeah, but the harvest is right. Ain't that what the Bible said?
But to Pel's point, no, that wasn't the only space then. That's just how we kind of remember it for many. But no, that wasn't the only space for those who were hungry.
That part. And when you're hungry in any situation, you're gonna find what do you call a musical scavenger?
Yeah.
That's what we were. We were scavengers. Wherever we could get a piano, at the time it was upright. You don't see too many of those no more.
Nope.
But they got upright pianos, and you better not touch Deacon Baxter's keyboard, even though he can't play it. You get on this upright piano.
Yes, sir.
And the keys hurt your fingers. However, you were hungry though. Yeah. And you kept on going.
And I'm coming back to you, but I just want to make sure I'm not misunderstood by, trying to deflect someone from there should be a space in prime time. Yeah. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any space at all in prime time.
What is prime time? Like, here's the question. What is prime time? Like, it's like, okay, so this doesn't sound like we beating up musicians. Like, I say this to all y'all looking. This is a well-known thing amongst preachers too. An OG preacher will tell you, if you gotta say to a pastor, you ain't never asked me to preach at your church, that's a flag right there.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right? It's like they're too ignorant to understand there's a reason why you ain't been asked yet.
Right.
You understand? And then if you gotta ask, when can I come over and preach at your church? You're imposing upon me to be in a space that seems prime to you, which tells me you don't value the space that you have access to.
That part.
And it also says you can't create a space where you have space. There's a church that I play at, and I promise y'all, listen, the organ, I gotta pray for them, and I'm not putting them on blast. They gotta fix that organ. Jesus, gotta fix the organ.
Yeah.
But I play on that organ, and I play left-hand bass because I refuse to bring a keyboard and all that stuff and lug it just to play in there for 2 hours and leave. Yeah. We have a wonderful time, though. The first lady sings. The pastor's sister sings. There's not a praise team, 3-part harmony, nothing like that. Yeah. And you know what? For the longest time, could not get a drummer in there. 2 reasons: to the church defense, and most drummers I know their defense. First of all, most drummers I know, they're not getting up that early to go all the way in South Philly, number one. Number 2, the drum set is not anything to write home about. Yeah. So you got to bring some of your pieces. Yeah. I play with a white drummer that doesn't really know church, but he knows pocket. And we have a really good time, and they pay us. It's not prime time. And guess what? I learned so much listening to different musicians, and that I'm not pastor now. I've tuned in deeper on my chords and stuff, playing and listening, and how can I make this better? And because the worship leader has me practicing one song and then sings in a totally different key, I know how to play How Great Is Our God and all these things in multiple whosoever will let him come key. Yeah. Okay. And that has nothing to do with prime time. So that if a primetime space comes, I'm ready because I'm faithful over a few things, and it's really about the ministry of it, the love for it. So there's nothing going to stop me.
Yeah.
So it's always in me, and primetime means nothing to me. If that helps, like I'm really trying to help. Like I didn't get these plaques on the wall because I was trying to be in prime time. It was because we were 6 broke Negroes sitting in the basement that really cared about this track sounds good to us. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Jill sounds good to us, and we know it. We feel it. Took it to 5 different record companies, and they said it sucked. And guess what? It sound good to us.
That part.
And sooner or later, somebody knew it, and there we are in LA. Who is Jill Scott? 2.5 million people know. That's my story. And that's my story. That's not just an R&B story, but that stems from the person I was at church. Nobody really knew about Southern Baptist Church like that. But you know what? We went ham in our space.
Yes, sir.
And people that had prime time, they wanted to come in our little space after a while. So it really is about, do you love it enough to do it? Because some of those same people, some of these musicians, I'm about to shut up. Some musicians playing for some of these major churches, they're like a Gary Diggs or somebody else that play in a big ministry, but they still have a loyalty to a storefront church that most people don't even know about. Like,
sir.
It's like when I went to Spanky's sister church, it is Spanky. It's Aaron Drape. It's the white boy on the guitar. It's a store.
Ian.
It's a storefront church.
Yeah.
It's like 8 members there, and it's the best shed ever. Like best shed ever. Okay, so it's like you talking Spanky out on the road with everybody, then come in there and go ham in that spot. Ain't getting paid for it. There's not an audience there to shine in front of, but he's still pouring out.
Yeah.
That right there is the sign of what am I doing it for? That's what makes great musicians to me.
Yes, sir. So
don't let me
Jay,
get started.
this how we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna close us out tonight, but I have to ask you a question.
He said you going close.
You're gonna close out, but I gotta ask you a question that's pretty much opening the door to the Lions then. But let me shout out some last minute watchers that came in. Julian Brissett, LB Mutchison, Sheena Edwards Patton. We mentioned Mark Gray. Again, thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you.
So we get out of here, but here's a question, Jay. So let's say a medium-sized church, right? And the church has several instruments. Church has Hammond B3. Church has, a late model 88 key keyboard, good sounds. Let's just say a Nord. Okay. Got a nice bass rig situation. Great drum set, right? Why is it that whosoever wants to play shouldn't be playing?
Oh man, where do I begin with that? Lord have mercy.
Because again, the church got all the instruments. So this ain't about this is my instrument. I own this, so I got to be the one to play it because I bring it to the church. No. It's all church instruments.
Yeah.
Why is it that whosoever wants to, whosoever is aspiring, why is it that they can't just play for church every week, that they show up?
Now, here's the thing. Let me say this before I get into that when D says aspiring, it has nothing to do with age. You can be an aspiring musician at 60.
Yes, sir.
Jay, you gotta take this one. This hot one.
So when he says inspiring, we tend to think aspiring as little young musicians. We're not talking about age. We're simply talking skill level, experience. So if you don't have the skill level and experience, first of all, to even be on the Nord, stick to the upright piano or whatever else is, because number one, understand this. Those instruments are not just, they're not cheap instruments. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, just like going from a Hugo, I don't know whether some folks know what a Hugo is. Going from a Hugo to a daggone, top of the line Mercedes Benz, it's two different. They both get you from point A to point B, but it's two different experiences.
Yes, sir.
And so if you don't know how to use the Hammond organ, I've seen folks that don't know what they're doing, had nothing to do with age, but they'll sit there and they'll push the run button.
Oh yeah.
To turn the organ. I know y'all seen
it. Hurt my feelings.
And then wonder, calling me. This happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The organ broke. What you mean the organ broke? What you do?
Yeah.
I pushed the run button. Turn it back off. I ain't even gonna tell you none of that. Turn it back off.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be there in a few. Wait till I get there. That let me know you don't need to touch it. Because number one, you're aspiring to try to play something that you're not ready for. You have no idea. Nobody showed you anything.
Nobody showed you anything.
Yeah. No. Nobody said this is what you do. You just took it upon yourself and saw it and wanted to just attach yourself to it. No.
Hey, you remember when the kid on the drums, the kid that was an aspiring drummer, they would have their sticks with them. Like they would have their own, say like, oh, can I play? I've been at churches where it was, the kid was good, but the people didn't want the kid on the drums. They would hide the sticks, and the kid came back. Now here's the other problem. The kid ain't had money to go to the store nor a car to drive to it to go buy a stick. So he got them from somewhere. Which means they had parental support.
Uh-oh.
And I seen mothers go, that's his sticks.
Yep.
Then the church people had to argue back and try to say, well, it's the church drums. Then the mother would go back and I'm a member.
Yep.
So where it was going was, and then if the mom got ticked off enough, they'd be like, the heck with all of y'all. He got a drum set at home.
Yeah.
And then I'm telling this true. I've seen it happen. And the mother was mad, never left the church, but they tried to hate on the kid and didn't really get a kid no time because the family member was on the drums. Not getting better, but just in the way to be seen.
Yeah.
And the other kid was at home getting it in. The other kid got lessons and learned how to hone in. And before everybody knew it, that kid was blowing up somewhere else. And the church like, he go to our church. And then everybody's looking like cousin drummer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tenured drummer. You're not as good as him.
Uh-oh. Jay?
Yeah.
I want
And
you to get back.
at that point, it's like, oh, you want to play for the youth Sunday? No, let him go ahead.
Yeah.
Like y'all shining. This wasn't about shining. This was seeing the gift and the anointing and the be ye also ready. So there's no way, to Darian's point, you got open instruments. And if you can't play during the service, then you play after service and let them know I got it. And here's Jay gonna take this and I'm gonna say it like this. The real test is, if you are a musician on any instrument, name whatever instrument you want, and you can't get a 3-piece band together, something wrong.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say this and get off.
I'm standing on it.
But and Julian, you're absolutely right, man. Understand it has nothing to do with age. If you're not ready, it will show.
Yep.
I mean, there's no cheating.
Nah.
Not for this. There's no cheating in the system. the reason why, to answer your question, you don't touch those instruments, the reason why you don't touch the $4,000 or $5,000 Nord is simply because you're not ready. Nobody in your ministry, the musician or the pastor, has never heard you before, because usually if you're on those instruments, somebody would have heard you and said, okay, I see something. But if nobody can't back you at least once and be like, okay, I've never heard you do anything on that, why are you on that?
Yeah.
You're about to mess up hugely. And what's going to happen is you're going to create problems for the actual people that can play. Broken keys, which we've seen.
Absolutely.
Broken drawbars and broken Leslie switches. You up there, click, click,
stuck
click,
pedals.
click, stuck pedals. You know,
burnt motors, like you said.
Motors,
just hit the run button.
Popped kick drums. Pop snares.
Yep.
We've all seen it when kids go up there. We've all been there when the kid uses the back end of the stick. Pop, 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 pop. Next thing you know, you got a hole.
Yeah. Hey, look, I know y'all got to go, but this is great discussion here, because now I'm just envisioning the churches that people are going to or that they favor, right? And how we're influenced by social media. You don't have that opportunity. You don't even have to guard the instruments. There's no place for it.
Yeah.
So the one issue is, I don't think people are learning the Hammonds in church. I think they're learning them through the Nords and
the clones.
Yeah, and the clones and stuff. Like,
yeah, Nord.
I've not been to a church and seen any young inspiring musician just sitting on the Hammond, right? Or let alone a 2-piece band just practicing or shedding. I don't see it now.
Yeah.
And the production churches are so production set. You got to clear the stage and get ready for the next service or the cleanup, because you hired a cleanup crew to get it ready for the Wednesday night thing. So there's a recalibration there. And again, if you're up and coming and you don't have your own pedal, snare, and hi-hats, most of the time they take them off when they done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, but here's the funny thing. If you play keys, the Hammond is just cutting it on when you learn how to cut it on. You can play it soft, you can play it loud. And then keyboards, I don't want to hear the excuse. You can go buy a cheap behind keyboard and learn on it.
Yeah.
Right? Just
Absolutely.
the chords, and then be able to sit down and play. There's so many opportunities to show. And I see there was a point up here about, and yet folk wonder why folk who grew up in one church, they play at another church, but they not at their home church. I'm gonna say this to people that want to get out there in the secular industry. I was happy at my church, and but I didn't run to another church for attention. I did work and I did production. Right. And I was loyal to my church because spiritually I was cool at my church. The reason to move around is because spiritually you're not tapped in. Because your talent, you can unpack that almost anywhere. Like seriously, you literally can.
Yeah.
And if it's no space, it's just no space, especially if you're a musician and you have the talent and you do need to eat off of this, right? You're a drummer. You do need that $500, $600, $800 check, whatever you can get now. That you're being honest. You also want to be where you can spiritually feel well and grow. But most of these spaces, they don't provide. Back to Mark's point, a few others, they don't have that space. But I'll argue this. There are churches that are dormant and empty. And I don't think most deacons, trustees, or pastors are going to say, no, you can't go in and practice, especially when they could barter. You can come in and shed every Thursday night. Give me a break on Sunday.
Yep. And let me say this before we go. one thing about it is when it comes to home church, as you said, Pels, you know, people, whenever I play at a ministry full time for somebody, you guys can pay me to play. That's fine, but I will never charge my home church. That's just me.
Yeah.
Because they were there with my flaws. They've seen it all from me. They've seen the hurt feelings. They've seen the struggle. They've seen the hunger that I used to come in and get to church 2-3 o'clock in the morning and just playing, like Mel said, just wasting time banging on the keys until I got it, learning these choir songs.
Yeah.
They never have to worry about me charging anything to play for them. Very small church. They still have choir anniversaries.
Yeah.
Never have to. Why? Because they know and have seen me through my flaws. So I will always be grateful to them. They can ask me to come anytime, and I will always do that for them.
And clearly it doesn't sound like there was any abuse there.
No.
Charity begins.
Yeah.
So listen, we getting out of here today. But let me say this. When I've had these conversations with other people, particularly as it pertains to production and worship, one of the biggest gripes that I've heard is production has too much structure.
Wow.
As we look at at the lens or we're looking at the worship experience, too much structure.
Yeah.
So going back to Mark's question, where is the space? And me interpreting some people asking that question, where is the space during the Sunday service? Aspiration needs structure. Let me say it again. Aspiration needs structure.
Yeah.
You can't put that space in a streaming church. I'm a bottom line say that. That's just I'm be honest. You cannot connect that question. Not that Mark didn't do this. I'm just saying in general. People cannot connect that question to a streaming church.
Yeah.
When a church, this is the thing that somebody has to tell certain churches, and Jennifer was saying this. When you decide to stream, you are entering a space that you have to be ready for the critique. The likes you want, the following, even the revenue. Like, it's useless to just go to YouTube as a church streaming, talking about you want to spread the gospel. No, put out a flyer and say we have Bible study on Wednesday night. And we will introduce you to Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
Yes, sir.
Sunday school start at. The Sunday services now is pretty much a display of awareness. It is not what we think it is. It is production. And in that, it really caters to the believer, not the... I'm done. Not the non-believer. I gotta quit. But that's a for a whole different day.
Absolutely. And we're doing part 2 next week. But aspiration needs structure.
Yeah.
It needs structure because aspiration without structure, it does not belong in the worship service.
Yeah, definitely.
And that you can fight me on.
Yeah.
But aspiration without structure does not belong in the corporate worship service.
Yeah.
I'm your co-host, D. Brister.
J. Morris.
Pels, you can take us home.
Oh.